morning, everybody. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Are you ready to invest in your health, your mind, your body, and your life? That's the brochure that we're working off of, which is a 4-phase, and then having the extras of the essential oils. And I want to read this. Strengthen the mind and the body through the renewal process by natural ways with adaptogenic herbs and Compass Blend essential oils. Today, we're going to be on phase 4. Why are we calling them phases rather than month 1, month 2? Sometimes we may need to stay on a phase a bit longer to accomplish our health goals or challenges. That allows us to build, but also if we start with phase 1, I myself stay on phase 1 all the time. Those are my base products. They are, what I call my multivitamins, my way in which that if I indulge in a piece of cake, that my blood sugar doesn't spike. And as we get older or go through menopause or have any type of hormone issues, it keeps our blood sugar in balance. The other reason is I like protease enzymes, and I take them personally on an empty stomach rather than with food. And it allows me to not have to take it with food unless I go have Mexican restaurant, too many margaritas, and indigestion comes along. I mean, I just have to throw that one in there because sometimes we're going to have to celebrate somebody's birthday party at a place that you don't want to eat, but you're going to do it. And that is reality. There are people who are very strong-willed and will not do it. However, that's okay. So I want to read a quote because we are talking about balance today. And we're going to go into balancing our health. Life is like riding a bike. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. And that's Albert Einstein. And that's the thing I think of the most is like a lot of people will ask us about how do I balance my health? How do I balance my hormones? And when we say to keep moving, there's a lot of aspects to that. And that's why we have the approach of the body and the mind. We go over some things, and we will be going over some aspects of the mind this time and how we can help our self-care journey. So bring balance. What does that mean for you? You see, this is the thing. Everybody has a different aspect of what they call holistic health. Everybody has a different aspect of what they call balance. When we bring balance into our life, it can mean multiple things. Make sure when you're working with your clients or with your customers or specialists, they know you have this and you know what they are referring to in working with them, what's their mindset about bringing balance. Most people have been trained to think in terms of treating disease instead of building health. It is time to restore, rebuild, and rebalance. So, what we've been doing is throughout this concept of this trifold of these phases is we've been going down the journey of how do we restore the gut and the brain. So we have to restore the nutrients, the way in which the body brings in and communicates to each other. Remember that, we have so much coming out right now about everything with gut health and how the gut affects the mind. So Naturals has been in business for 10 years. We started 10 years ago with the gut-brain connection, and we brought in a tenured 20-year herbal guru from Yale University who had worked in the research department in being able to connect that from a psychology standpoint. So we bring in that balance of restoring the brain via the gut. We bring in the abilities to be able to rebuild. So that's where we bring in the fibers, and we bring in getting the intestinal system working, and we bring in the way in which that we clean up the lymphatic system, and we bring balance to the parasites that we all come in contact with. As we learned, a mosquito. The other day they had a picture, it was priceless. It's probably something I should have right here. And it's literally all the mosquitoes on top of, like, you know, this person, and they're like, ah! So it's reality over here, guys. It really is. Start by creating an excellent basic health program that strengthens the entire body. When we find out what our client is wanting to work on, each person's going to give you one of the 10 categories that we have on the intake form that's in our back office. They're either going to complain about hormones or energy or gut digestion. But if you ask them those questions, then you're going to have something that brings you back to where you know what their basic health program and what you're strengthening on the body. I've always worked with body systems, and in working with body systems, then I can correlate back to what the person's weakness is and where their strengths are. So we're always bringing some attention to that. Choose to be healthy. These are psychologically proven, based by science. I know I'm not a medical doctor. I don't claim to be one, and I don't diagnose or prescribe. However, these are absolutely written in psychology. Meditation. And notice how I have practiced prayer and meditation differently. Meditation is going into a parasympathetic state. Practicing prayer is a sympathetic state. So the one will bring the adrenal and cortisol level down. One, not that it brings it up, but it just does not bring us into that state. Moving more often, cultivating kindness, and embracing a growth mindset. Meditations. Studies show that regular meditation practice contributes to both physical and mental, including helping to decrease stress, depression, anxiety, and insomnia. I personally have been working with clients, and any of them who absolutely start doing a anywhere from 5 to 20-minute meditation, and they at least do it 5 days a week, they have improved their cortisol levels. They have improved their sleeping habits. They have made major improvements. I oftentimes talk about tools. What tool are you using to accomplish it? The ones who have the tool and name it in my consultation have 100% success rate of actually accomplishing it. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. It kind of goes with Einstein, and this one is Buddha. So practicing prayer. Prayer can help ease anxiety because we're giving away the things that we know we have no control over. Manage pain. It's been known to actually help lower blood pressure, improve immune function, because when we become in fight and flight, that's how we are diminishing our immune system. Prayer can provide a chance for a quiet reflection and an opportunity to bring yourself back to the present moment. Because a lot of times when we're under stress, we're not in the present moment. Move more often. Movement is medicine. Boost for happiness chemicals. And I'm going to tell you that movement does not have to be as complicated as a lot of people make it. It goes back to the mindset and what are you, working on behind the mindset. You may be aware of the physical benefits of regular movement, such as weight and pain management. But what about the mental health benefits? Research shows that movement is medicine, and that consistent movement through the day, throughout the day, helps to keep the body and mind well. I mean, we all buy these watches. It tells us when we've been sitting too long. It tells us we've become a sedentary society. And, if you're working at a computer, you're not moving like you should. The consistent movement also boosts four happiness chemicals in your brain. This is where that gut has to be in a better shape in order for these messengers or the nutrients to be able to cross the blood-brain barrier. When I first started out in natural health, I worked with mostly ADD, ADHD, and that was how I started my practice. And I understood and knew about these chemicals more than I really wanted to. However, when you get these to start changing, it brings profound health for a person of how they can make the changes themselves. So we have the dopamine, the oxytocins, the serotonin, and the endorphins. These can help reduce anxiety, stress, and mood swings, and improve self-esteem, motivation, and procrastination. So when we look, the CNS, the central nervous system, produces these hormones. A lot of people may have, when we go into the MTHFR, a lot of people talk about that. That is when we don't have our B vitamins in solution in our body because we have a genetic from one of our parents. I'm not going to say it in the genetic snap because a lot of times we don't understand that. But we have both parents. If they give us that, then we may not be producing one of these hormones. And these are absolutely converted via the gut and then brought over to the brain. And this is what controls the central nervous system, the CNS. So cultivate kindness. Being kind releases hormones that boost mood and well-being in the giver. As the saying goes, mood follows action. That is a profound statement. Mood follows action. So when you show kindness to others, you're uplifting yourself at the same time. That is something that as we work on developing or cultivating, let me say, different mindsets, we will find that as you become more appreciative, when we start doing gratitude journals each and every day, and we start, I call it almost like doing the resume, but on what you are cultivating in your life, what you have given to you, whether or not you've given value of a tangible money where you went to school or you've actually taken courses that you've paid for. These are all investments within yourself. And when we start filling out that resume about us, that's when you become kind to yourself and you stop being devalued or unworthy or overwhelmed, because those all fit into the opposites of cultivating kindness. Growth mindset. A growth mindset is evidence in someone who seeks continual learning and expansion. Having a growth mindset means that you keep trying regardless of the outcome, giving each situation your best effort. I can totally understand about this growth mindset, as in last week, I had a technology issue that I was navigating. And in the past, I would have quit rather than climbing the mountain. And it wasn't a physical mountain, but it was a technology mountain. And as I navigated and continued to navigate and ask more questions, finally by Friday at about 1:30, when the button got pushed, everything fell into place. And I knew at that point that I had sustained a growth mindset. In the past, when things become hard or overwhelming, I tend to have just either gone into my shell, gotten depressed. I'll use the words that they use, and or devalue myself with, my own words of going back. And when we pull ourselves out of that and we ask better questions, we figure out what does that part of our brain and how can we feed and nourish our brain, then we can accomplish great things. Nutrition. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. The sort of food our great grandmothers would recognize as food. Michael Pollan. Improve your nutritional behavior specific to you. So when we say eat food and not too much, a lot of times, that's where the gluttony comes in, is the part of overeating or emotionally eating. In this part on nutrition, we go in and we look at what is it that our body needs. So when we look at the balance category, and there is a balance where we bring in all the different aspects of what the body is going to need, and looking at your specific body and what are you needing and how are you going to make the progress of moving forward, and looking at what nutrients am I deficient in and what do I need to bring into the table. So let us help you bring balance. Everybody sees this as something different, and how can we look and bring balance to people's lives? This is where you would actually put your information in the event that you would like this, and this is what it looks like for me. I'm going to stop sharing so I can bring in the balance category. So in the balance category, we have So Vital, we have Renew, Cinemate, and Excel. So we can actually take Greg's pictures. We could incorporate this into here if we were to want to. I did it as a presentation where you can teach it to people without it being so specific, but then you can bring that into the table afterwards. We have the Soul Megas. That's where we bring in the Soul Flex. We have the Probio and the Vertizymes and Adaptables and the Contentment. So in the port, when we're going to bring in all the nutrients in the body needs, we can be using Greg's different scaling of how to take the 4 drinks. We could actually get that done on one PDF to where we could hand that out to people, or they could have it in a booklet type form. That's what I'm thinking about doing with it, to where it's all in one. I think that would be beautiful. So that way people can come up. We have a protocol for it. However, we'll allow people to come up with their own way. Of course, most people do Cinemate in the mornings. However, sometimes I like to do my Cinemate after lunch, and I do my Vital and Excel in the mornings. And then the Renew is in the morning, at night. However, guess what? My husband likes to do the Renew in the morning, and he does Cinemate at lunch, and on his drive home, he does the Excel and the Vital. So he does things, and we all do them differently, but that's where you need to work with the balance of who you are working with, because my husband chooses to do his vitamin C with the Renew in the morning for his arteries, because he had triple bypass heart surgery, and vitamin C is the most used nutrient. So a lot of times he will do the Renew twice daily, and then his Soul Megas will be done, twice daily also, unless he's going to do blood work, then he really ups it for that week, so it really looks good. Does anybody have any testimonies, anything that have actually used the Balanced Health protocol and brought that in to your regimen?
Yeah, I can. So when my histamine was really high, I was having lots of problems. Doctors wanted to do shots. I didn't react well to them. I had to keep an EpiPen. I did the balance package plus the Soulclear SI religiously for 90 days. and
Mhm.
basically got that under control. So now the only thing I have to do is take an herbal blend if I start to break out in hives, and start to have an issue. Where before I literally would have to maybe take the Zyrtec 3 times a day to control it. So that really helped. And my first 6 months on Soul with the fibromyalgia, I went on same thing, really religiously, 90 days of that balance package. And that really helped bring down my symptoms and get those under control, and was able to reduce another medication because of that.
And so what happens is as we clean up the bloodstream from those histamines, because histamines are when we bring in airborne particles, food particles, um, any type of insecticides, it could be MSG we're having to react. That's what drives up the histamine effect into the bloodstream. And a histamine effect is that the bloodstream has come inundated. So think about you getting, bit by 10 mosquitoes. I'm just going to use mosquitoes today because, like, y'all, we've been having a lot of rain and they are so horrible here. And, I had a client send me a picture of her 10 mosquito bites on her head. It was probably just 2, but it looked like 10. And I mean, it was swollen. And she turned around and did some Solmegas, and she did Excel. And I told her to make sure to drink all her drinks. And this morning she sent me a picture. She put Solflex AC cream. And this morning she sent me a picture and all the swelling was down. And she did not, have to resort to OTCs or, a trip to her doctor's office, which was her past avenue, because when you're not knowing what you can do or how you can take something, then therefore you're reaching out to just the doctor's office in order to do that. But this is what this brochure does, is empower you to take care of your family, to save you time, and lots of time. And that way you can help somebody right now. So thank you, Tiffany. I really appreciate that testimony. One time I got bit. I was moving some plants and I got bit by wasp in my neck. And like she's saying, that could really drive in. And I literally, the Sol Excel, and then I did an Omitox paste on it and used the oils. And in no time, I was able to drive down the poisons. So I'm going to use that of what the animals that bite you, whether or not they're a spider, a wasp, a snake bite, mosquitoes, ticks. I mean, we could go on, and it really helps that. Or if we choose to drink some wine and think that we're drinking organic, but the nitrates and the nitrites really affect us. So that's all histamine effects. I'm trying to bring up different things so y'all can understand or see something that inundates the blood, and we need to drive it out of the body as quickly as possible. So I will stop recording so that way this one becomes very short and sweet, unless somebody else has a testimony.
I do. I can share.
Let's go. Thank you.
So for me, with the balance package, I'm going on month 5, and I first started with the intention of being on it for 90 days. And the intention was all about, what could this do for me? And so it has balanced my hormones so well that I now have regular periods. Prior to that, they were very irregular, painful. I was done and out with migraines before and after. And it's so, I feel like I had accepted that that's my way to live and move forward, until I started the balance package. And within the first 30 days, when I started my cycle, I was so surprised that it was possible to regulate my body to have a normal experience on my time of the month.
There are 2 balance packages in the back office. So I want y'all to know that this is the balance package number 2. And thank you, Marissa, because that is a beautiful, beautiful concept that we bring to the table when everybody wants to isolate and say, there's something wrong with my hormones. There's something wrong with my hormones. So you articulated this so beautifully in the way in which that you talked about when I just brought nutrients into my body, that my body can take each nutrient, place it where it needs to be, and bring that balance into the body. We oftentimes want to pick things apart. There's no wrong way. There is no right way to do this protocol or to do what we are doing. I'll know a lot of times people will say, oh, well, there's not this in there. Well, if we really took the ingredients down and broke it down, yes, there are prebiotics. And yes, there are, because a lot of people don't even realize that if we took all of Soul Natural's ingredient line, we could probably figure out that 50% are prebiotics. If we really dissected what a prebiotic is, or if we looked into hormone balancing, we probably have 75% of the herbs that are in there that are hormone balancing. So when we put these formulas together, we're looking at helping the body seek balance. We're not looking at pushing it this way and pushing it that way. And that's the beauty of adaptogenic herbs. They will come in, feed and nourish the body, and help the body find its, I'm going to call it, a remarkable, happy place that we actually can be, right, Marissa? Because when that happens,
it's phenomenal. Seriously, I'm so grateful that I can actually experience this, because I've never experienced it my whole entire life until now.
Can you imagine how many teenagers' lives you can change by at age 12, 13, 14, and 15 by getting their hormone cycles? It actually takes 3 years for the hormone cycle to start up, to get, exactly where it needs to be and to balance out. Just like it takes you anywhere from it's 5 to 6 years for the in cycle to happen. When this all started happening with me, I started doing a lot more research and realizing, oh, it doesn't just happen one day and everything's balanced out. So now when we're in the middle, we can turn around and bring in nutrients and not just say, oh, well, I need to take this one herb in order to bring a balance. It's the synergistic property of all of them that helps, whether you're at menopause, preteen, middle-age life crisis. I guess that's the dynamics of Marissa bringing this testimony. I want you to know that young girls need essential fatty acids more than you even imagine. And that's what most of them problems are, because they're out of balance in their omega-6s versus their omega-3, the 9s, and the, we have the 7s. So I need y'all to, definitely note that, because you put somebody, we have a 7-year-old girl that had some hyperactive tendencies, no concentration. We put her on the essential fatty acids and we changed this child's life. And what we did was we brought in a little more than normal the first, 2 or 3 weeks. And her teacher, and she's homeschooled, but they are noticing a tremendous difference in the way in which her concentration and how, she's not as the roller coaster ride with the emotions. There's just so many benefits of the essential fatty acids that we can bring to the table. And in all aspects of a woman's life. I'm not saying that men don't need them, but women need them for development. Our breast tissues are made of fat. In order for us to conceive, we have to be able to process fats. There's just so many aspects of why we need those good fats.
Did when you gave it to the 7-year-old, did she take it like a capsule, or how did she take it?
Actually, we're very fortunate. Allie teaches all of the children who come into our office how to swallow pills, and she does it real fun with them. So she actually swallows the capsule.
Can Allie come to South Dakota?
Yeah, and then come to Denver We may need to go there because I've
Okay.
tried her trick. with
The
my-
only problem is that, you know, right now she can
Right.
be 6 hours away from home. In a couple of weeks, it's only 2 hours away from home. So we might, you know, but we can definitely, after that, we can fly her
Well-
anywhere and you have to take the baby. Well, we'll keep the baby. No, I'm just.
We want to see the baby, or we can come see the baby.
Yes, yes. But we, you know, we need to do a video. I'm gonna get my social media girl to do a video on Ali teaching somebody to swallow the capsules. My granddaughter at 3.5 years old could swallow capsules. And I'm talking about any size. If they can eat macaroni and cheese, they can swallow capsules.
And I was demonstrating it and I was like, this is brilliant. You don't even know what's in your mouth going down. And they both looked at me like I was crazy. So I think it takes somebody else to show them.
Yeah, well,
I think they think I'm trying to pull the wool over their eyes or something.
exactly. Any more testimonies? Okay, well, thank y'all so much for attending, and we hope you the most success in your specialist training.